Emilia Papadopoulos reports.
Our correspondent Emilia Papadopoulos reports.
Emilia Papadopoulos is in West Sussex for us. Emilia.
Emilia Papadopoulos reports.
Well, the Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson revealed these allegations in a written letter to MPs. Now, they include child sex offences and also human trafficking crimes. DNA testing hadn't been invented at the time of the murder, but even after his sample was found to be a match, he denied all involvement and even claimed that he and Yanula had been in a sexual relationship, something that the court later found not to be true. There is a feeling here that even though this march is about climate change, it's also very much about showing solidarity with the French people following the tragic events of earlier this month.
In terms of Brexit, London is quite a tricky area for the Prime Minister. As we know, most Londoners overall were in favour of staying in the EU. So for now, her job is really to convince that those 60% of Londoners that are unhappy about leaving, that this isn't going to cause them any harm, especially when it comes to three main areas.
Well, the floral tributes here close to where the accident happened continue to mount. People have been coming here today to lay flowers and pay their respects to the victims of the crash. Now, this has been an incredibly difficult time for Croydon, for all those involved in the accident, for the people that live here and, of course, for their families. Well, the ministers said the meeting with their British counterparts was a positive one that focused on how to deal with these incidents and also looked into how the UK could do more to protect Polish people living here. They also revealed that the Polish police would be meeting with Essex police tomorrow with a view to working together and preventing these sorts of attacks in the future. Extra precautions like these special barriers are already in place outside Parliament and Whitehall to stop any vehicle from mounting the pavement here. But the Mayor's review will look into whether more of these and more protection is needed in other parts of the capital. Missiles and fireworks were thrown at police, injuring several officers and also police horses. There was a police car that was torched and also a lot of shop windows were smashed. And that's why Scotland Yard have such a big presence here this evening. Around 2,000 officers, many who have come in from other parts of the capital, meaning that there will be a lot of neighbourhoods with a reduced police presence.
The royal family traditionally spends the day at Sandringham. That's where our reporter Emilia Papadopoulos is for us this morning. Crowds gathering, waiting for a glimpse of the royal family. What should we expect today, Emilia? Merry Christmas, by the way.
A very Merry Christmas. It's a beautiful morning here on the Sandringham estate, and the crowds have actually been building since 6 o'clock this morning, everyone hoping to catch a glimpse of the Queen.
Did you spot Prince George and Princess Charlotte, Emilia?
I have to tell you, there is a lot of disappointment amongst the crowds here because we didn't see young Prince George or Princess Charlotte. But on the upside, hundreds of well-wishers here, very much rewarded for their hours of patience waiting in the cold and in the rain today to see the royal family.
For the past 6 months, we've been investigating a firm involved with London 2012 that's left many workers out of pocket.
London 2012 was hailed as the greatest Olympic and Paralympic tournaments ever staged. Winning an unexpected haul of medals, Team GB did us proud. There was also another team doing their best for Queen and country, an army of unsung heroes, without whom the Games would not have been possible.
Nicknamed the Games Makers, close to 100,000 ordinary men and women took part in the 2012 Sports Fest as security guards and stewards. They were the human face of the Games, the meeters and greeters, and it was their job to ensure the comfort and safety of the athletes and the million-plus visitors here to the Olympic sites.
Emilia Papadopoulos has the story.
For Salwa and the 50,000 other junior doctors in England, it's often a constant battle to keep their heads above water and deal with the demands of the job. For some, the pressures can be overwhelming. As you said there, London is one of those places where people of all faiths live together next door to each other and everyone gets on. But obviously, in light of recent events, we've seen a huge increase in religious hatred, Islamophobia, anti-Semitism. Does that worry you?
Worries me very much indeed.
The teenagers carried out 34 robberies over a 2-week period in Waltham Forest, Tower Hamlets and Newham. Most of the attacks happened at night and often involved a weapon like a knife or a hammer, and one of their victims even ended up in hospital.
So, Emilia, what was said in court?
Well, Riz, the inquest found that Alice Goss had been unlawfully killed in a sexually motivated attack. And most people will remember the huge police search for the 14-year-old when she disappeared from her home in Hanwell back in August 2014. It was Scotland Yard's biggest investigation since the 7/7 bombings. For many retailers, Brexit has meant a year of uncertainty. But when it comes to Christmas spending, it's good news. It's predicted that the festive period will see more than £2 billion spent.
Still looking pretty thick behind you. Morning.
Good morning. Well, we already know that 3 flights have been cancelled from here this morning because of fog. There could be more later, and there have also been cancellations at Manchester Airport and East Midlands too. Other cities have already cracked down. In Amsterdam, for example, flats can only be rented for 60 days a year. In New York, the authorities can actually fine hosts for even listing their properties on Airbnb or similar websites.
So with talks due to resume tomorrow, Emilia, where does this leave the strike and commuters?
Well, Riz, despite these latest developments, there have been no major changes as of yet, and tomorrow's strike is still on.
Cases of carbon monoxide poisoning are rising. There are almost 2,500 this year alone. That's a 10% national increase compared to last year.
Well, this is London Bridge Station as you've never seen it before. And that's because a huge part of this redevelopment will be opening to the public for the first time. Now, this is the new concourse. It's almost the same size as the pitch at Wembley. Feels like the Olympics all over again here at the park. It's well and truly alive. 54,000 people are going to be here tonight to watch West Ham's first game in their new home, and you can see the crowds behind me just streaming in. The end of the First World War marked a period of great change for the British pub. Long gone were the Victorian gin palaces filled with hard-drinking men, and in their place, pubs for the whole community, where women were welcome and food was served. Well, I'm very excited to say I'm joined now by Tarzan himself, Alexander Skarsgård.
For about a month now, touring different cities, and but this is a very, very special moment to be back where we actually made the film, yes.
But for £1, does it pass the taste test? Yes, it does. And it's not hard to see why the man who cooks from his kitchen in Camden is taking social media by storm. Emilia Papadopoulos, BBC News.